Good morning. Good morning. I should have a party popper because today is the last day of my 12 sales tips in 12 days that I've been doing on Facebook, my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Selling with Heart TV, and my LinkedIn profile. So 12 days of 12 tips that are meant to help you think about selling smarter in 2023. My name is Moira Barnes of Moira Barnes Sales Consultancy and Training, and that is my aim in life, is to help business owners learn to fall in love with selling, to feel that they're selling from a place of authenticity and integrity. And I do that via one-to-one coaching, looking at stripping your business right back and working from those really strong foundations up to a really strong sales strategy. Online, I have courses online that people can follow, and I also go into businesses and help motivate and train their sales teams. So thank you for joining me today. Today is the day we are going to be talking about something that I'm not actually an expert in, but it's something that I feel is quite relevant. So, how to sell on social media. So, as I say, I'm not a social media expert. There are lots of fantastic social media experts out there, but I just want to give you a little bit of confidence. A little bit of inspiration for going out there and being able to sell online. What we find, or what I find, is a lot of people are very concerned, and at times even myself, when I was starting out, concerned about how you sell on social media, because we really are. We are subjected to so much advertising these days. So, back in my corporate days, I worked in magazine publishing. Worked for the likes of Radio Times. That was one of the fantastic brands that I worked for a good while, which I loved. I loved Radio Times. I haven't actually bought my Radio Times for the first time ever, barring when I lived in America. It's the first time ever I've not had a Radio Times at Christmas, and I'm still wondering whether or not I buy one because it starts tomorrow. But back in its heyday, before we were able to stream all these different channels that we're able to now, and there were just five. There were five channels, so there was, I'm not that old. So you had BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, and Channel 5. Even though Channel 5 always complained because they got a much smaller listings in Radio Times magazine. But I worked on that magazine for many years, and the Christmas double issue was huge. We'd have a readership of about 6.5 million people at Christmas time. So absolutely, behemoth of a brand. And advertisers were queuing up to actually appear in that magazine. And it was very easy for us we had a waiting list of clients. So if somebody didn't agree with paying the really high rates that we were asking them to pay, then that was fine. We had other people we could go to on our list who would be more than happy to appear in that issue. But there was one year where early in the year, I had negotiated with the publisher and the editor of the magazine that we could have an advertiser appear in the double page spread between Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So this was really, really huge. And I think we had a change of publisher in the time from when I had the initial conversation to when we actually were going to the deadline of booking these ads, and the publisher changed their mind and said that it was too icky, it was too full on, and pushing selling in front of people's faces. Very strange conversation was had. It was resolved in the end. I can't remember if we actually did run the ad, or we did something slightly different, but it wasn't an ad, it was an advertorial, so it was very much done in the style of the editorial team. So, even back in, the early 2000s, people were worried about appearing too icky and too salesy, even in something like a magazine that is bought and people are used to seeing adverts in. We are used to seeing lots of adverts on social media, but if you want to build up that know, like, and trust with your customers, it's really important to post helpful content. You've got to be really authentic. You've got to offer your service to people. And I think it's really important that you let people get to know you a little bit more. So post content about who you are and what it is you're doing, and that can be what you're doing in your day-to-day life to a certain extent. If it just allows people to get a sneak peek of who you are and your authenticity. So if you're a big believer in volunteering, then there's no harm in posting some content about you volunteering at I don't know, at a local children's school, handing out Christmas presents, for example, because we're in that Christmas season at the moment. I think that's a really nice way of people getting to know you a little bit about you outside of this sphere of your world that you work in. But other content there, you can post behind the scenes of you getting ready to go out and deliver something. That if you're a trainer like me, you know, giving people a snapshot of the training materials that I provide for people, but spacing that out with testimonials from people. So others who don't know you yet get to hear how you have really helped other people, posting out helpful tips, you know, as I'm doing here. So I'm doing this 12 lives, 12 sales tips in 12 days, which is helpful content. People get to dip their toe into what it is that I'm all about, get to know me a little bit better. They're seeing me, you know, video is huge. We know that um, the likes of Instagram, you know, well, every social media platform, video is king at the moment. You'll have your posts served much more frequently if there's some kind of video content that there, whether that's you've done a live, you've done something pre-recorded, you've done a reel, there's funny bloopers, things, you know, that will get served for people. So that is really important. You can join groups and be that helpful member in groups. So whether it's business groups, groups of, if you are somebody who does dog training, you know, can you join a dog lovers group? And I'm not saying bombard people with don't go out there and just bombard people with helpful tips. What you want to do is become known as the expert. So if somebody asks a question, you can give them a snippet of help, a snippet of information. So what we like to do is we are showing people, you know, what the what is and the why is, but we don't show them the how. The how is what we want them to come and pay for us to do. But we need to be helpful and give people sound advice that they can go away and implement and see that has actually helped them. Can you be guests in other people's groups? That's something that's worked really well for me. So a successful occasion that worked for me is I guested in somebody's paid for group, paid for, I think it was a Facebook group, but they had a paid for group, and I did a masterclass for them. So they asked me to come on board and do this masterclass for them. And from that masterclass, I don't think there weren't huge amounts of people that came to that masterclass. That was fine, because like these lives, they can be watched on replay, and please, you know, feel free to dip in and dip out. But one of the people that were there, they went onto my mailing list. When I had an active mailing list, that's something, one of my 2023 goals is to get my mailing list active again. But they went on my mailing list, and I was sending out weekly emails that had helpful content on, nothing too over the top. In terms of pushing sales, I recommend, even, you know, any social media posts, any email marketing that you do, is you do need to ask for the sale. We've talked about that in a previous live, and that is important in social media as well. So I think if you're going to do 4 lives out of 5 that are helpful content, and then maybe one of those social media posts is a sales post, you know, directing somebody, there's a call to action, please go and do this. So that's what I was doing with my email marketing that I was doing, is sending out helpful content, and then every now and again I would send out a direct call to action, sign up for this course and do this, or you know, attend one of my workshops, or you know, do you want to book me for a one-to-one sales strategy session? So this person that went onto my mailing list, they did sign up and did one of a mini course that I have, which is called Conversations That Convert. It's just 7 simple videos, but you know, I say they're simple videos, but actually this person came back and said that the content was really valuable to them, and it's helped them completely reframe selling, and especially reframing objections for them. That was something that they'd really struggled on in the past. And as a result of them reframing everything, their business has gone on to grow from strength to strength, which is fantastic. But then they were also involved in another group, not a social media group, but they are an advisor to a big group, and this big group were looking for a sales trainer, and he was able to, he had got to know me, got to like me, he definitely got to trust me, and he was able to put me forward to deliver some training for them, and that's gone on to be one of my biggest clients to date. So that's all from me doing a masterclass in somebody else's group. So that's a live example of how that can work for you. So make that possibly a 2023 goal, is that you go out and you offer your services out to other people to go into their groups. So that's something that I want to do. So I've done all these Facebook lives. People will have got to know me a little bit more. I certainly hope they've got to like me, and I hope that they have had a look at some of the tips and are starting to think about how they're going to implement those tips, and so that that will have built up the trust in me. And so if anybody's got a group that they want me to come into, then I'm happy to do that. I'm not saying that every single time you go in and do a masterclass for somebody, you're going to get your biggest your biggest client to date, but it's worth a try. So that is my last tip for the day. Last tip for the 12 days that I've been doing the lives. They are all about taking some time to actually reflect on your business, to look at what you're doing. So have a look at your social media schedule, should form part of your sales strategy. So sales and marketing are always very closely aligned, because without any marketing, you're not going to get the sales. Without any sales, you're not going to need to do any marketing. So they're very, very closely aligned. So take a time over this holiday break at the beginning of January, when you come back to work, to think about what your social media strategy is and how you can sell better via social media, by being more of service to people, by being helpful to people out there. What part of your knowledge that is up here in your brain can you share with people that will help them get to know, like, and trust you better? So thank you very much. I have to say, I really appreciate everybody's time that they've taken out to watch live. That's been really lovely, or to dip in and dip out at the various different lives. If there's anybody you think would benefit from seeing any of these lives, then please do direct them to see them either on my LinkedIn, they'll be there, on my YouTube channel, which is Selling with Heart TV. So they'll all be there on that channel, and on my Facebook page, which is MB Sales Consultancy. So it's been a pleasure. It's been really fun. I hope it's been helpful, and I'd really love to hear from people if it has been helpful, especially after Christmas. If you're coming back to these and watching them on replay, then please hashtag replay in any comments, and let me know what sort of things you have changed about your sales strategy going forward for 2023 that is going to help you sell better. As ever, I have my free ebook that people can download at moirabarnes.com/ebook. And that is my Christmas present to you all. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas 2022 and a very prosperous 2023, where you have learned to sell smarter. So best wishes for everybody out there. Thank you very much. Bye bye.